Okay, welcome back to the second video in this Linux Mint series. Again, and as a recap on our last video, we created a USB thumb drive and we went through the whole boot process, booted from USB, installed Linux Mint on bare metal, and this is the next video in that series where we are going to continue looking at some customizations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Linux Mint here and go to this icon right here, which is System Settings. It's going to open this window here. In the last video, I told you that you could do some more advanced stuff with themes. So when you go in here, it looks like it did before. Excuse me. Click the Advanced Settings button, and there is at least one other option on all of these. There's at least one other option. And if you don't like the one you like, you can always go to Add, and it'll populate cache here, and there's several other icons in here for you to play with. There's one that looks like Windows 10 if you feel that's necessary. Font selection, you can change your font sizes. Effects, I never really use these. I leave them at default. I'm not all that savvy on desktop window effects or wobbly windows or any of that kind of other stuff that some of these other people do. I use Linux as a tool. I browse with it. I check email. I play video games. Excuse me. I play video games, that kind of thing. Here you can do backgrounds. You have the default Linux Mint ones, and then Wilma is the code name for the current release, Linux Mint 22. And you can change the background wallpaper here just by selecting a wallpaper. You don't have to do anything else. Just select it and it will change for you. It's kind of interesting if you like the Minecraft. All right. I like that one there. It's kind of techy. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Got our own little ziggurat going on in the middle of our screen. All right, so one thing I did change before I started recording is I made it put the date on here. To do that, you go in here in date time, and it's the second option under format. If you toggle that off, it goes back to its default. If you toggle it on, it puts the date on there for you. You can change your time zone and that kind of thing in here. Let's see here. Hot corners is another cool one. Let's say I wanted to perform an action when I pointed up here to the upper right hand corner. I just turn this on and then choose what options I want. Let's say I want to run a command. Okay, and the command I want to run is, let's say, gnome terminal. All right. So when I point up here, it should run gnome terminal. Okay, what if I wanted to run Firefox? Okay, Firefox. You point up here, it'll run Firefox, which is really kind of handy. However you want to configure that up, more than welcome to. If you have multiple monitors like I do, when you enable this top left or this lower left corner or whichever side your monitor's on, like my extra monitor is over here on the left hand side. It's not over here on the right. It's on the left. So when I enable these corners for the left, it's going to be the upper left corner on the other monitor, not the upper left corner, not up here. Okay, so in there we also got desktop. I prefer to have no icons on my desktop at all, but you can have like your trash or your home folder or your computer, whatever you want on your desktop that you have here. The default is mounted drives is turned on, so if you plugged in an external drive, there'll be an icon on your desktop for it, which can be kind of handy, I guess. Here's your notifications. Let's see, your screensaver. I always turn it off. That's just me. It's personal preference. Display is where you can configure your monitors. Like I said, I had another one over to my left here. My right one here is indicated by the color here. Little red square, green square. There's a green square on the other monitor that you can't see. And you can configure each one of these however you want. Power management, also turn that off. What I do is when I'm done working, I just turn my monitor off. Some people like that, some people don't. It's your world, whatever. In sounds, you can go in here to sounds, and if you go to this little button here, these are your system sounds, like your startup sound, your shutdown sound, when you're switching workspace spaces. Sorry, I don't want any system sounds at all. But if you did, you can turn them on here, and you can choose what gets played and at what volume. Microphone output, that kind of thing. Discs, we'll get into this one. This is actually a cool little program. We'll talk about that in a later video. This one's going to be long enough. You can enable and disable Bluetooth in here. You can actually link up your devices, which I don't really have any, so I turned it off. Driver manager, this is the same driver manager that was in the welcome screen. You can do your firewall if you want, add users and groups, that kind of thing. Other than that, that is going to be it in there. Let's show you this here. If you go up to this icon here, this is a software manager. Once this loads, you can actually install applications straight from here if you want. There's several of them that are listed here on the main screen. This by no means is all of them. You can choose which category you're looking for, and it'll open up pretty much everything that's in the repository. Go ahead and close this. And that also includes Flatpaks. But let's say you wanted to install Google Chrome, which is not in that list. You just go to google.com/Chrome. Download Chrome. Make sure you choose Debian. Mint is actually built on Ubuntu, so we'll want to make sure that's selected. Click accept and install. When it's done downloading, it should pop up this box. So you click the down arrow and go ahead and select that. It started minimized for some weird reason. Okay, I just moved it to the other monitor. I'll drag it back over here. And then what you want to do is I already installed it once, but you just click install package. We'll go ahead and reinstall it. That's fine. And it will install for you, so you don't have to get into the command line. Let's talk about command line for a second. With Linux, getting into the command line is inevitable. It's unavoidable. There's just some things that you absolutely have to have the command line for. And we'll get into that. I'll have playlists, and we'll start out very simple, and we'll work our way up to scripting. But it's inevitable. You'll eventually have to have a command line. Linux Mint, however, having said that, is one of those distributions that you need to get into the command line the least. And what I did when I first started, this is a long time ago, this is before YouTube, I've been using Linux for about 25 years or so now, and we had nothing but regular manuals to read. There's no video, the internet barely existed, there was no streaming services or anything like that. So we had to do it the hard way. We even compiled from source, and yeah, that's another train wreck. Where I'm going with that is you had to learn the command line off the bat. And things have changed a lot. Linux Mint, you barely need to get into the command line. But my point is eventually you will have to. And start out small, we'll start simple, and only use what you need to use. You don't have to become a Jedi level master at the command line just to use Linux. And then the purpose of this video series is to teach you how to use Linux Mint. And as we go through here, you'll find that we are not in the command line that much at all. I might go there for a thing or two, a few things. I do it simply out of habit because it's far easier for me to do that than to figure out the graphical way of doing things. But having said that, this is probably the least command line required Linux distribution out there. This is actually built and aimed at new users that don't really care about all of that. So let's see what else we have in here to play around with. Backgrounds, calculator. Okay. Let's say we didn't want Firefox here. We just click and hold the left mouse button, drag away, and drop it. Let's say we wanted Chrome in there instead. So we right click and choose Add to Favorites. That menu will go away, but your Chrome is going to be here. And you can drag and drop this anywhere in line you want. Just like that. Actually, I prefer this on the bottom. Fine, I'll drag that up. There, okay. So anyway, so you got all your internet applications, Office, sound, video. The only thing I've really installed other than Chrome is I put OBS Studio on here so I can record this video. If you want to install multimedia codecs, you can here. However, no, I don't. If you never want to install them, right click, choose uninstall. Click yes. Password. And it's not there anymore. That also works on other applications like this Hypnotics. Let's get rid of this. Right click, uninstall. This package will be removed. So there's no app wizard or any kind of uninstall centralized location like you see on Windows. There's no registry, so you don't have to worry about messing that up. You should be able to remove anything out of this menu that you want, in theory. A long time ago, they advised not to because it might mess something else up. Just go ahead and hide it if you didn't want it, kind of thing. But also at the same time, that was kind of bad. Like, this has got LibreOffice installed. If I don't want LibreOffice, I can uninstall it. Firefox, Brave, I can uninstall those too if I don't want them anymore. That kind of thing. But anyway, I think we're going to about wrap it up for this video. It's been almost 13 minutes by the time I'm done talking. Leave a comment down below. I cannot talk today. Leave a comment down below. How did I do? Was there anything I missed? Was there any questions that you have on how to do something? Let's open up a dialogue and talk about it. Also, in the video description, there will be affiliate links for the hardware I use on this channel to record these videos. In full transparency, those are, in fact, affiliate links. I do get paid a small commission. The clicking and using links do not affect the price whatsoever. It's the exact same price whether you use the links or not, but it does show a small thank you and helps contribute to this channel. Anyway, if you like these videos, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.